Good morning to you, too. I should be asking you that question. I've been looking all over the mansion for you. I thought
Well,
you'd be... What mansion?
What mansion do you think, you idiot?
fucking came right from the ether.
Wow.
Come in, assassinate, and leave.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 4pixels. Coco and Kimi are here with our guests, Layfilet and Buttons. We're continuing the letter.
Look at these little babies.
No, get out of here with this bullshit.
They're so cute.
Fuck this, I don't need these feels. Get out of here. She's been my friend for the longest. Anybody else would have been fed up with me and left. The girl stuck by me, no matter how big of a jerk I've been. There's Zach and Isabella now, too, of course. I'll always be thankful for having them around. The worst times before, however, Becca was there. No one believes when I say it, but I've surely had my awful moments as a bratty kid and a horrible teen. I'd believe it.
Somebody believe it.
Yep.
I know, right?
I believe.
Issues. I've had too many of them to count and refuse to deal with it for a time. At least, that's what Andrew likes to tell me. I tend to think nothing of it. It has mellowed down over the years, thanks to the professor mostly. But at times, I do wonder if it still burdens me the way it did all those years ago. After all, I was terrible, especially around the time of my parents' separation.
Big fucking mood. That fucks you up for life.
Looking back at it now, I had no reason to direct all my frustration toward everyone else. Well, I wasn't a kid who lashed out at anyone, preferring to keep it to myself and turning those negative feelings into more productive things. I've grown distant from it. I've grown distant. I even fucking read the line before this. Come on!
You can do it. You can do it.
I've grown distant from a lot of people because of it. From my old friends back in my old school and the neighbors I've hung out with before moving. A habit I've likely brought with me into adulthood. I was just so angry with everyone and everything. All I kept thinking about was myself, wondering, why me? In retrospect, I was a selfish little bastard who thought the world revolved around me. And that I shouldn't have been going through it. I believed my behavior was entitled, that I had the right. Tough times, but she stuck with me, snapped me out of my little sulk, as she often phrases it, whenever she sees the chance to bring it up. She didn't tolerate my bullshit, but she didn't leave me alone either. If anything, the whole thing made her stick around. Her concern may have grown a bit overbearing as the years went by, but she's still an old friend, nevertheless.
Old friend, Becca. Friend.
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 I owe her a lot. That won't change.
Damn it. Where are you, Becca?
The sun's stopping music. Was not prepared for that. Another message left on her voicemail, then on my third call I hang up. For the time being, I can't do anything more than wait for her to return my calls. Worrying aimlessly won't get me anywhere. Zach, on the other hand, my precious muffin man,
Look at that
Perfect
face.
cinnamon roll.
Amazing.
Shout out to fucking Yang Yang Mobile for making that stupid meme.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
appreciate that so much.
they just had it on the back roll, you know that. They
Oh,
were just
yeah.
waiting for someone.
We were waiting for
The
the right
achievement
moment.
is cinnamon roll. God bless Yang Yang Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
That guy attracts trouble no matter how much he tries to avoid it. Doesn't help how he hasn't been too hot lately with a lot of people. His mention of plans yesterday didn't sit well with me either. He might be the next responsible adult after Rebecca, out of the four of us, but I've still got to check on the big guy. Make sure he's doing okay, at the very least, whatever he has planned on doing. All I'm asking is for it to not be idiotic. He's a sensible guy, I'm sure. However, desperation clings and pushes people to do things, rational or irrational. It doesn't matter. Clear thinking flies out the window the moment you're in danger, and I sincerely hope he hasn't found himself in a tricky situation. His phone doesn't even ring before he answers, or his voicemail at least.
Hey, it's Zach. Well, a voicemail anyway. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So, just leave a message, yeah? And no, Ash, you're not allowed to lockpick your way into my apartment again. Just do what any other decent human being does and call if I'm not around. Thanks.
What a perfect child. I love him so much.
The one time Ashton calls. Did he turn it off? Why? I don't want to assume the worst yet. Maybe he's forgotten to charge it? Can't be. The guy can be a bit of a Boy Scout, even more than I am as a cop. He's the type who has an extra battery or power bank in his bag if he ever needs it. Plus, he's got expensive camera equipment, and it sucks if that goes out. And he always does. He won't say anything or brag about it, but he's got quite a roster of VIP freelance clients. He won't just leave his phone dead in case he's on the field, particularly when people will likely be looking for him. He always leaves his connection open whenever clients or his friends need him. Zach is reliable like that.
Why isn't anyone answering?
His mobile in an out-of-range area sounds more plausible, although the thought of it doesn't completely shake off the unease. Unlike Rebecca and I, he took the time to listen to what Isabella said. And even if he didn't believe it, he was definitely the first one to offer help or try to do something. If he ends up in trouble doing whatever it is, so help me, I'm going to... Well, I can't be rash. I'm aware of that. Been running the same reminder through my head since last night. But if something happens, I'm certain my reaction won't be pretty. The added guilt from those times I've repeatedly dismissed him will surely haunt me.
Yo, Zach, call me back, alright? I wanted to check in and, yeah, just please call me back.
It's usually a joke between us when I say he's the Watson to my Sherlock. Ugh. Forgive me and my unbridled hatred of Sherlock and Sherlock references.
Hey, listen.
Too
Novels
much.
Are great.
There's too much of it nowadays.
I think my favorite thing about Sherlock is the fact that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was like, if I'm only known for Sherlock, I will hate my entire existence. And I'm like, haha, guess what, sucker?
Aww.
Yo, but mood. I think the only
Poor man.
Sherlock rendition I've liked so far has been the one with Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock.
That
was a
one's
good
really
one.
good, and I kind of consider The Great Mouse Detective to be closer to Sherlock Holmes than it is to its
Yes.
original source.
Yes.
I mean, like, Vincent Price as the fucking evil rat is the best casting choice I've ever seen.
I don't see him as some assistant to put aside until he's needed, like some people like to believe, though. He's not some pity friend I keep around to make myself look good.
If anything, he's the one who stayed by me out of pity.
Please, don't do this to me.
Go on, go on.
So, what was the timer on that? 5 minutes? Zach's the one who puts up with me most of the time, even when he doesn't need to. It's not a case of a cool cop who helped out a minority. In truth, I was a hard-headed, hot-tempered, and reckless rookie. Up until I met him. It wasn't anything sudden, and some part of me is still that rookie. But I've grown thanks to him. He tempers that part of me. Considering how our first impressions went, I'm lucky he stuck around. Becca and I may have spent a lot of years together as children, but Zach? He's probably the closest thing I'll call to a best friend. Though, it's more than that. A camaraderie no words can express. I'm gay for him.
Okay.
I was wondering how long it was going to take us to start making the gay references, so that's a 12-minute counter?
I was holding back for so long.
He has my back, and I'll always have his. He's a brother I've never had the luck of ever having, only child at all.
And I have every reason to worry about my brother.
God! Jesus!
Ah! I
I
was healed.
God. Kill me now. Where's the
I am
ghost
already
lady?
dead.
The ghost can just come and kill Buttons now, it's fine.
Don't worry, I'm sharpening my knife.
And you're still alive
Thank-
too? Didn't you die too, or are you sharpening the knife to use on yourself?
We'll see. I need a
Wow.
debate.
Well, she's got to test the knife first, and who better to test it on but Buttons?
Makes sense.
You know, that's fair. There's like plenty of room for there to be like margin for error.
Yeah. What if the knife's not sharp enough? She wouldn't want to, like, cause herself endless suffering, just cause Buttons some endless suffering.
Oh, that's fine.
Buttons, like, it's nothing new. I think playing Overwatch is enough suffering for everyone involved.
Hey now. Hey now.
Becca... Stop it. Becca's neighbor did say she went out to meet with someone. No specific names. If I'm wrong and she's not with Professor Bearman, then maybe it's with Zach. Not rereading the line, it's his name now. They've never been close, but it's not the kind of awkward friendship where meeting together remains out of the question. Regardless, I continue dialing for his phone another 3 times, like I've done with Becca's. In the end, after the 3rd attempt with no one answering, I stop and move to cut the call with a ragged exhale.
Waiting game it is then.
I've been trained for those. Hell, I'm used to them. Just not when it comes to people I'm close to. Much as I keep reminding myself to maintain a level head, it's a whole different matter when it's someone you know. Personal feelings will likely get involved at some point. It's starting now, actually, with the anxious strings coiling and uncoiling, causing a racket inside my stomach. And that's exactly when the line finally connects. Before he even speaks, my question has already slipped out, including every pent-up worry and tension in my body.
Where are you?
The line's choppy, though I can still make out the words he's saying. Nothing to worry about then.
Well, it depends. Why is it choppy?
This might be when he was sneaking about the mansion.
Oh,
At the very
yeah.
end
That's
of
what
this
I'm thinking.
chapter.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He's just someplace where the network coverage is shitty. Can't imagine where at this time of the morning, though. I can.
I wonder.
Did he go out for a jog? That's one way to put it.
What was that, Ash? Could you repeat that? Signal shitty here.
I asked, where are you? Hell, Zach, I've been calling your number for a good 20 minutes now. What kind of shithole did you get into?
I've meant that to sound as friendly as possible, to keep things light at least. Instead, only the frustration shows in my tone.
Good morning to you, too. I should be asking you that question. I've been looking all over the mansion for you. I thought
Well,
you'd be...
What mansion?
What mansion do you think, you idiot?
fucking Kime from the ether.
Wow.
Come in, assassinate, and leave.
Do I really need to answer that?
See, he agrees with me.
Why are you even...
Please don't tell me that's his plan. A morning visit to the mansion? Where Luke Wright is? Of all the pig-headed things to do right now, it's the best thing he can come up with? Breaking and entering? Listen, it's nothing you haven't done.
Honestly.
Where were you last night, Ashton? Breaking and entering?
No.
Do you really think
I've-
that Ashton would do that? Break and enter? In this story?
13 locks would beg to differ. I've got plenty of reasons to rail at him right now. Although no matter how much I want to give him a piece of my mind, unfortunately it's not the time.
No. No, wait. Just get your ass to Isabella's place and hurry.
He pauses a moment, a second of indecision while he seems to contemplate his options.
How urgent is this?
In truth, the question, the hesitance and the indecision in his voice, has caught me completely off guard, and understanding dawns on me. His decision to go there isn't one born out of stupid impulse. He must have found something. However, no matter how urgent it is, he still shouldn't have gone there, alone at that. Despite myself, in that split second of comprehension, I allow it to show. a weakness. A simple request, brimming with every unease and disquiet causing turmoil within me since last night. It bears a selfish hope that he'll understand, even through the unstable signal, that whatever's keeping him there, he'll be willing to set it aside for now.
Pressing enough for you to stop asking questions and get yourself here.
Nope.
Please, Zach.
Silence fills the other end of the line again. For a long moment, I assume he won't heed it, and I'll have to drive there myself just to drag him away from whatever danger he's skirting. Thankfully, he agrees.
I'll be there in a few. An hour or two tops.
Thanks. I'll see you.
Yay. Relief washes over me as soon as the call ends. Normally, I don't let myself a moment of respite in times like this. Gotta stay alert. Rebecca's still out there, has yet to return any of my messages. But for the moment, I relish in it. This is probably the first time I've permitted myself to do so since last night. Even the muscles in my shoulders have been complaining from all the tension I've taken on. It still annoys me that all I can do right now is grit my teeth and trudge back to Isabella's apartment. Useless. That's what I am in the face of this. The mad dash around Luxborn and Anselm isn't going to help things. It's not like I'll simply stumble across them on the side of the road during a drive. This city's too big a place for one person to go searching for only two people. I'll be lucky if I even glimpse the hair of either of them. With one last hopeful glance towards the open skies, I slip back into Isabella's apartment and close the door behind me. Okay, so we're on October 30th.
After that close call, Ashton spent the night at Isabella's, only to be kept awake by nightmares. At an utter loss, and with all of his beliefs overturned, Ashton decided to check on Zachary and Rebecca. Unfortunately, only Zachary returned his calls.
I might have already grown used to this, but the waiting will always be the hardest part. More so when it's the people you care about.
You're up early. I thought you left.
This is not the first time I've seen Isabella like this. Standing casually by her kitchenette, a ladle in hand, keeping an eye on whatever's stewing on the stove while humming a soft tune under her breath. 5 years ago, it has become a common sight after the three of them, including Zach and Rebecca, found mutual interest in cooking. Despite what the noodle cups tell you. After that, whenever our schedule allows it, one of them will invite everyone to dinner or to lunch, instead of eating out. Rebecca prefers it that way. Healthier, she claims. Zach's just too happy to be able to cook for everyone. Isabella, on the other hand. As long as there's food, she's happy.
Big mood.
Me? I've been banned from the kitchen ever since the pressure cooker incident. Easier times. Good times. Right now, however, the scene brings an odd sense of normalcy, a strange fit with all of the other things going on around us. Not unwelcome, only bizarre, I suppose? Isabella doesn't follow up on her question earlier, but she does raise an eyebrow my way when I take too long to answer. For that, I only offer a casual shrug in response and a short answer.
I've checked with Zach and Rebecca. I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
I'll add in a quip or two for her, if the timing for a joke isn't off or doing so won't be inappropriate. I don't want to alarm her either. There's no reason to, yet. Interesting. Anyway, until Zach gets here, or until I've received an answer from Rebecca, whichever comes first.
I imagine that was probably in the case Zach dies, then we wouldn't have gotten to talk to him at all.
Or
Possibly.
if you failed the Rebecca escaping thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it's clear she has plenty of questions. It's right there in the subtle crease between her brows, the inquisitive gleam in her eyes. Curious as she is, though, she decides against voicing all of her questions out. Instead, she shifts her attention back to the stove and gestures vaguely with her hand in the couch's direction.
Well, if we're going to wait for them, don't stand around there. It's getting distracting.
You're just cooking. How am I distracting?
I don't know. Something might explode again, maybe. Zach's kitchen ban for you is also in effect here, you know. Now shoo, go. Stop hovering. You'll ruin the food. I'll be back there soon.
Oh my god, my grandmother used to say that shit all the time.
She leaves no room for an argument by swatting the ladle at me, and just like that, I've been kicked out of the kitchen.
I love how Ashton's mere presence will make the food go bad.
Just the aura.
All the utensils and pots quiver in fear.
You remember the pressure cooker that exploded? Left with nothing else to do, I drift back to her tiny living space and slump down on the couch. Closing my eyes, I allow the noise from the television to guide my thoughts. Sorry, I keep getting dings from someone, so I had to real quick tab out and just put myself on D&D. The ones I've been keeping at bay, freeing them from the cage I've built around them, so I won't have to think. One by one, they trickle back into my consciousness, each more frightening and unnerving than the other. So many things going on. So many things happening. The papers we've gotten from BRC doesn't provide any comfort either. Seriously, is there even a point to those after last night? What will asking those people do? If anything, this only proved there might be more copies of that dumb piece of paper. We have one here, but how many exactly is there out there? More importantly, how do we get out of this stupid mess?
Ashton.
Damn it. I haven't felt this kind of bone-weary exhaustion in years.
I don't want to think what might happen next in case I miss something. Shit.
Rebecca, Zach, Isabella.
They're all depending on me, and
Ash!
The voice snaps me out of my thoughts, abruptly wiping away everything running a racket inside my head. Suddenly, Isabella's there, crouched in front of me when I crack my eyes open. I haven't even noticed the exact moment when I've bent over and buried my head in my hands. Figures why she's staring at me like I've fainted or something. The crease on her eyebrows grows deeper at my lack of response. Although she's merely staring at me without saying a word, her expression says everything. So much for trying not to alarm her with bad news.
Sorry, I just spaced out for a moment. Don't mind me.
For a brief moment, she seems to accept that. Quietly, she shifts and stands up and takes the empty space right beside me. All done without a single comment. Then the next thing I know, she's gently pushing a bowl in my hands. God, the food in this game looks amazing.
It's like, of all the good things of this game, the food is the best part.
Yeah. The scent reaches me first, before I've gotten the chance to take in what she has just handed me. A faint, sweet smell of cocoa wafts from the dish. Calming, comforting. Despite the multitude of things bothering me, it certainly smells like the kind of food you'll eat on a rainy day. Though, from the get-go, it doesn't look as appetizing. Alright, well, Ashton, you can just, walk your ass right out there and straight into the arms of the ghost lady, because you just insulted food, so... What is this, even? Porridge? Why would you put chocolate in it? And milk drizzled on top? It's probably fucking cream of wheat, you stupid dumb hick.
God damn, that's pretty brutal, because cream of wheat is pretty hick.
Yeah, and if you don't know what that is, there's something wrong with you.
Literally, you know you had a white grandmother if you know what cream of wheat is.
Or just a white mom, or, in my case, Hungarian parents.
I have no idea
We
what
don't
you're talking
exactly
about.
prepare this in.
Neither do I.
See?
Point in case.
See, I told you!
Alright, point made.
So cream of wheat is like a breakfast food that's like the blandest shit. It's literally just cream and wheat. That's all it is. So any flavor that's to it is from what you put into it, which for normal, well, quote normal old white people is just cream and sugar.
Or
you
a
could
lot
put,
of cases, maple or brown sugar.
Yeah, you could put berries and stuff in it, or
Okay.
I've never actually thought to put chocolate in it, and I'm really mad at
Yeah.
myself now.
No, that's something I grew up on, is you fucking add a bunch of Nesquik to it.
Fuck me dead. That sounds like the best. Why did I
It's
never
super
think of that?
awesome.
Hey, Coco.
Yeah.
Why is weird people like this?
I don't know. And on that note, we will end it right here. Thank you guys for joining us, and see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Just bury me already.
This is a murder trial. Tell me, what's the
course it
victim's
is.
name?
I know this one.
I don't.
Glad I read
Oh,
the
Jesus,
case report cover to cover so many
Phoenix.
times.
Who comes to a murder trial and is like, who? Victim?
Wait.
What's going on?
Oh shit.
Phoenix,
No.
What the fuck?
No way, I forgot. I'm drawing a total blank
It's
here.
exam day,
What
and
the-
he's drawing a blank.
Phoenix,
Phoenix,
this
are
is
you
what you went
actually
to law
very
school
to
for?
this?
Phoenix, did you even go to law school?
You don't even know the victim's name. Well, you know what? He might not. He just bought a suit and walked in.
Showed up.
A bright blue suit, for that matter. I mean,
Yes,
if you want to
with
be
a red
in-
tie.
Yeah.
He has to stand out. That's half the battle, you know?
It's all about
If you don't-
presentation.
Exactly. I mean, you just gotta make it up as you go along. I mean, that's how I do everything. You fuck around and you look pretty.
And that's why you're playing Larry.